They're amazing, and they're having such a great time, and that girl has more rhythm than you do, I think.
Well, he is probably best known as the founder of Domino's Pizza. Am I kind of getting that a little bit right? Yeah, I know, that's right. We really had fun with that one. Sounds like he needs maybe a computer and maybe some other social networking tools.
Take this apron, for instance, you can put it on. I'm going to do a little rap on currents one of these days, but I won't do it today because I don't think I cleared it with the bosses over here. It's not to be confused with Jumanji or Cowabunga, which is from what?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Very good. Ding, 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 ding.
And you are not a priest, and you're, you know, a lot of people, you say even sometimes people think that you might be, but you're not. Also, Father James Cunningham, who says he's the president of the Francesca Maxime fan club, which I like him so much. He's over at Holy Name. He's right in the parish down the street. Yeah, so that's my parish, and so I'm like, yes.
With less than 3 weeks to go until the midterm elections, campaign season is heating up.
Rap? Oh, I just got, Cedric just told me to rap. There's rap.
We'll play on words.
Rap.
Some of the latest classified documents from the U.S. State Department, published by the website WikiLeaks, show the Vatican was very concerned about clergy sex abuse in Ireland. Cables released over the weekend also say the Vatican viewed Irish government investigations into the abuse as, quote, an affront to Vatican sovereignty. Meantime, the Vatican itself released a statement today telling readers to look at the leaked documents with caution. The Holy See press office says the documents reflect the views of the U.S. State Department officials who wrote them and cannot be taken as the official word of the Vatican. A new report on discrimination against Christians is drawing praise from the head of the Holy See press office. Father Federico Lombardi says the report is important because it gives long and detailed examples of acts of vandalism and other forms of discrimination against Christians. The Vienna-based Observatory on Intolerance and Discrimination documents several cases of intolerance toward Christians in Europe over the last 5 years. One researcher told Vatican Radio that discrimination against Christians is a fairly new phenomenon and is on the rise in Europe. Catholics in the U.S., meantime, will observe National Vocation Awareness Week next month. The U.S. Bishops' Conference says the event will give parishes across the country a chance to promote vocations to the priesthood and religious orders through prayer and education. It will begin on January 9th, which is the feast of the baptism of our Lord. That's the day that marks the beginning of Jesus' ministry.
The rider was thrown off in the process. Neither the camel nor its rider nor anyone in the crowd was hurt. My goodness. Baby. I'm so surprised that nobody was hurt.
Poor thing. I mean, poor people in the pews, but the poor camel.
I know.
I mean, it was just trying to do its job.
Right. Getting back up. Oh, my goodness. But
it reminds me of that scene in Star Wars where those big things on those, spindly legs, they kind of crumble. Anyway.
Right. Don't get me going on Star Wars because I'll go all day.
We'll never stop. All right, stay tuned. There's much more cards coming up. Yeah, it's all about the prized locks. I know that I'm really interested in going to see The Fighter because Mark Wahlberg, is from Dorchester, like from Massachusetts, right? Where I'm from. We're from sort of that neck of the woods. And it's about these sort of, Massachusetts guys. And I'm curious to sort of check it out. I think I might try to go later on today.
Hits home for you.
Yeah, well, it does. It hits home. Very funny. He is so good at this.
I'm very punny is
he
what
is
I
very
am.
punny.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, anyway. No more puns, maybe.
Enjoy the movies.
Over there. Hey, babe. Hi. That's okay. Hi, that's okay.
Meredith Leva's not the only one who's happy to see her husband Fernando come home from work. With 2 kids and a dog and a home in Cordova Park, their family life looks ideal. But soon, they'll be pulled apart.
Deployments have become very unpredictable, and that makes family life hard.
Fernando Leva's a Navy doctor. Soon, he'll board an aircraft carrier in Norfolk, Virginia, and spend at least 6 months at sea.
It's a maddening thought to know that I'm just not going to be watching my daughter and son grow up.
The Levas aren't alone. Thousands of military families in the Pensacola area have to deal with keeping their families together when a spouse gets deployed.
The biggest challenge for me is not having that second parent to deal with the inevitable crises that come up with kids. There are moments where you're just at your wit's end, and thank God you have your husband to come in and save you, and you just don't have that anymore.
That's why community, military, and online supports are becoming more important. NAS Pensacola's Fleet and Family Services helps those left behind, providing counseling for those who need it. They've increased their offerings as the Navy's increased its Individual Augmentee Program, also known as IA, where individuals or small groups of seamen are deployed without much warning.
This is the first time that we've done this, so there is a learning curve, but we're catching up, and we're doing a much better job in supporting our families.
Annette Scott uses those services to get through the tough times and acts as an ombudsman at NAS Pensacola. Her husband's set to deploy in a few weeks.
The last time was pretty hard on us because I was brand new to the country. I just had a baby, and it was just very hard on me because I didn't really know what to do. So this time I just tried to prepare myself better, to prepare my family better, and so we don't go into this deep hole just when he leaves.
Because of our large military community, there are many other support groups our families can rely on. Brenda Machuga started a group called PESO, which stands for Pensacola Enlisted Spouses Organization.
Now you have a contact person. Now you know someone else in the military who is from the same area of the country that you are from, or raises your kids in the same manner. So now you have more contacts and better friends in that intricate group.
Another example of the ways military spouses can find support is a simple website called synchouse.com. It's Navy jargon for Commander-in-Chief of the House. You can think of it as an anonymous online community that founder Meredith Leyva says is pretty much like talking to your girlfriends.
I don't normally cook like this. I just want you to know I'm prepping for the week.
Yeah, this is new to me.
As the Leyvas prepare to move and to deploy, they're also thinking about what will happen when Fernando comes back.
It's going to be hard on the front end, and it's going to be hard on the back end, and you have to prepare for both sides, because returning after not having been a part of the family for 6 months is going to be an adjustment.
Sherry Schachter, Director of Bereavement Services at Calvary Hospital, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Here on Currents. Now, we know that Calvary does advertise in the tablet, which is, this is last Sunday's version, and one of the things in here as well is our own Dr. Stephen Garner. He did a little column here about sort of depression over the holidays and people that sort of feel overwhelmed and have a lot of trouble sometimes dealing with it. And that's what we're here to talk a little bit about is how do you deal with the holidays? I'm going to be driving home to Boston. I don't love everybody in my family the way that I probably should because sometimes they drive me nuts. But, you know, I have found ways over the years to sort of deal with that. How do you think people, you know, what's your advice to deal with some troubled relatives, if you will?
Well, I think the first thing you have to realize is holidays.
So how would they take control? Are there things they can do now before Thanksgiving or before Christmas or New Year's or whatever it is, as well as things that they can do during the actual day when they're with the people?
Absolutely. I like to think this is what I'm not going to do.
So you have to make your own decision. That's your control part. So
make your own decision, but also consult with family members.
Okay.
I want to communicate that to the rest of the family.
Okay, so communicate. Then that's your action item. So that takes you out and then says, this is what we're going to do. I've considered all of the above, myself and you included, and this is the plan.
And also have not only plan A, but
what about people that have a hard time sort of saying no and they feel like they're obliged and perhaps the thing is supposed to go from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Can they just say, well, I'll be there from 2 to 4 and that's it?
Well, one of the
it's okay if you're going to.
Absolutely.
So we have the control and we have the communication and the action plans. And it sounds as though for people who are recently bereaved, it's particularly perhaps a challenging time, but there are some things that they can do to plan ahead and also that day to kind of take control of their environment. Well, that sounds great. I will talk a little bit more about this on our blog and let people know a few of the tips that you shared with us today. And for now, thanks so much for sharing with us all this, Sherry.
You're quite welcome.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. There are over 7,800 Catholic schools in the whole United States, but only one, like Cathedral Prep in Elmhurst. It is the last prep seminary of its kind in the whole country, which raises the question, how do you keep an institution like that going and get young boys to think about becoming priests?
Well, last week offered one.
And we wish them the best in making those decisions. We do have more on Cathedral Prep at our website. Just visit currentsny.net.
But in the meantime, stay right here with us. We have much more.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure. Coming up later, it's World Youth Day time. But no, not in Madrid, right here in Brooklyn. We'll explain.
But first, let's have a look at the day's headlines. President Obama talked about his personal religious beliefs Tuesday in a backyard discussion on the economy with residents of Albuquerque, New Mexico. One woman asked the president, quote, "Why are you a Christian?" Here's what he had to say. The president's faith has been a topic of political discussion for years, but came to the forefront last month when a poll showed nearly 1 in 5 Americans wrongly believed Mr. Obama is a Muslim. When questioned about abortion, the president said the practice should be safe, legal, and rare, and that he believes American families, not the government, should be making those decisions. Along the same lines, the Health and Human Services Department announced today it was awarding $27 million to programs across the country to help pregnant teens and young parents. The administration says this is a follow-up to a statement President Obama made during his controversial speech at Notre Dame last year. In his remarks, he said the government should help reduce unintended pregnancies, make adoptions more available, and care for new mothers. Meantime, a federal appeals court ruled Tuesday that the Obama administration can resume government funding of embryonic stem cell research. The decision means the government can fund the research while the court considers the appeal of an August case that stopped the flow of taxpayer money. White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs praised the ruling, saying that stem cell research is the pursuit of groundbreaking treatments. But several pro-life groups oppose the funding because they say embryonic stem cell research involves the destruction of embryos. A federal judge in California today temporarily blocked the scheduled execution of convicted murderer Albert Brown. He has been awaiting lethal injection for raping and murdering a 15-year-old girl in 1980. Brown's execution was scheduled for this week. No new date has been set. Meantime, California's Catholic bishops are calling for an end to the death penalty. The bishops said in a statement that while humans can and do commit grievous crimes, they reject the use of the death penalty in all cases, especially when society can be protected by a sentence of life without parole. The death penalty has been in the headlines recently because of high-profile cases in California and Virginia. In the Virginia case, Teresa Lewis, who was found to be borderline mentally retarded, was put to death by lethal injection for arranging the murders of her husband and stepson. Welcome back. Well, sometimes the people who stop by our studio for an interview, they can be a little bit intimidated by being on television, maybe a little self-conscious, and sometimes it can take a little while to draw them out of their shell. Well, that was not the case with Justin Fatica.
No, not at all. You may.
I'm surprised he didn't just like drop in 230 right there.
I know. You know? He's so boring, Justin Fatica.
Yeah,
he's for something in their lives.
I think what he says is, you know, the first thing is you're amazing. To believe that you're amazing from the inside out, and that is what enables you to then do what he also suggests, which is putting God first, and then others first, and then your second rather, and then yourself third. But that you really have to have this belief, I think, in yourself that you really do have all this power, that, you know, you become the obstacle sometimes and get in the way of your own success.
Yeah.
That he's saying, find a way to get that out of the way so you can move forward.
Well, and that joy thing, by the way, Natalia had mentioned in the interview, that's called the Joy Class, and that's the name of it when I was growing up as a kid.
Georgia.
I know. It's a Southern thing, I guess. But you can see our other stories about NET.
Stay with us. We will be right back with another look at young people in faith right here in Brooklyn.